Now, when you first look at this game, you're probably thinking one of two things. Oh hey, this looks like a quirky little dating sim. Or, I swear to God, if you don't get this first out of my face in the next 5 seconds, I'm gonna... But either way, you'd understand this to be a dating sim, right? Right? You see this right here? It's a goddamn lie. Or at least it's not the full truth. This game just exists in such a weird gray area that it becomes difficult to describe, and obviously too difficult to categorize. I mean, it's got some dating sim elements, but it also has horror stealth mechanics, dark magic rituals that you need to perform, and it's all wrapped up in a genuinely compelling cosmic horror story. Calling this game a dating sim would be kind of like calling a cheesecake a pie just because it has a dry crust. But, you know, if I told you I was baking you a pie, you wouldn't expect me to show up with cheesecake, you'd expect me to show up with this. And in the same way, when someone says dating sim, you do not expect this game. You expect this game. And it's weird because the first game had every element of a typical dating sim. Dialogue options, all the choices, pick your favorite Eldritch waifu. But in this one, there is no choice. There is only one. And you love her. And that brings us to the two massive elephants in the room. Because the game can get a little bit...
Oh, Stardust. I was just thinking about you.
Which is something that's probably going to get a lot of people to drop the game and never give it a chance. But the devs did add a small mechanic for those who aren't goat inclined. So anytime that Goat Mom starts to have a little bit too much fun, boom, hit her with the anti-kid spray, and you just get to skip it. As well as a few other more comical situations. Which makes the main reason that most people play dating sims, I assume, an opt-in experience, which is something I genuinely want to become more common. Like, it's just better to have more options. I like having options. And for some reason, if you're a maniac and decide to stream this in front of other people, it's kind of a godsend. Suddenly, a floral perfume-like scent washes over me. What the f*** are you doing?
I was just thinking about you.
This is illegal. Put your f***ing clothes back on. That's awfully drafty in here. Yeah. Got you covered. This feels like the point where I should be saying, oh, the game spends a lot of time working against itself and doesn't really find its true sense of identity. But it doesn't feel that way at all. It just feels like they were thinking of everyone, which is just nice. But now we're leaning a little bit more into the gameplay. Alright, quick gameplay premise. You explore a rundown house, typically looking for components to complete various rituals that all advance the story. But while you are exploring, you need to slowly open any door you pass through, just in order to make sure there aren't any nasties in there waiting to get you. Which leads to some really fun moments when the game decides to light a fire under your ass, forcing you to find a balance between speed and safety. Each episode in the story follows the same premise while throwing new twists on it, both to continue the story and keep the game from getting stale. But if you're anything like me, you might try to quickly get through it like a speed demon with a gambling problem. Which brings me to my favorite aspect of the gameplay. It's kinda knowledge-based. The longer you play, the more familiar you become with the rituals that you need to perform and the layout of the house. And all of the knowledge that you build up over the course of the game all culminates during the finale, where the game throws an imminent threat at you and slaps the fresh dungeon rituals right in your hands. And all of those new rituals demand use of that prior knowledge. And it's such a fun and creative reward for all of the previous efforts that you made throughout the story. And I cannot describe to you how wonderfully weaved into the narrative all of this is, but I don't want to spoil it for you. I can't spoil it. Which I've really tried to avoid doing in this video, but just to give some quick general descriptions on it, it is far more sweet than it is enticing, and it builds on some of the more unique cosmic elements that is established through the lore of the first game. Not that you need to know anything about that one. You don't need to know that. Get rid of that. I really want to be less vague so I can talk about this, but the game's only around 4 hours long and obviously tells it better than I could summarizing it here. But ultimately, my hopes for this video were to convince more people to give this game a chance by peeling back that dating sim veneer and showing what a special little mixing pot of a game this really is. And that you do not need to be a furry to enjoy it. but it certainly doesn't hurt. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to my ramblings. I've left a link to the game for both Steam and itch.io in the comments in case you're interested, or you want to support the developer. And if you enjoyed this video, leaving a like or sharing it really helps out the channel. And my ego. Thanks.